Our next speaker is Sydney Madison Prescott, Global Head of Intelligent Automation at Spotify. Sydney, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Madison Prescott, and I am the Global Head of Intelligent Automation at Spotify. And I'd like to talk to you today about the transformation that we are undergoing here at Spotify in terms of citizen RPA developers and the merging of citizen data scientists for the ultimate digital transformation of our business processes. So I have been at Spotify for a little over a year. I started out within intelligent automation about 6 years ago, and I have been responsible for the scaling and maintenance of intelligent automation centers of excellence across primarily the financial services industry. And the tool of choice that I have used for most of those implementations in terms of robotic process automation has been UiPath, but I do have some expertise in everything from Automation Anywhere to Blue Prism. And the efforts that I have led have resulted in over 7-figure return on investment for the firms that I have been a part of. So you can definitely say that my passion lies within being able to look at the grand scheme of business processes, understand the intricacies of the underlying logic, and then translate that into really powerful automations, which can benefit both the business unit, but also the enterprise as a whole. Let's start off by talking about citizen developers, and this is specifically within robotic process automation, which you may or may not have heard of. If you have not, robotic process automation is in essence robotic software, and we have developers that create business workflows from a technical standpoint where we are able to basically interact with the front end or the back end of various business applications. The great thing about robotic process automation is that it is system agnostic, which means we can work with the user interface, we can work with open or exposed APIs, and that is a really great thing because it allows us to be extremely fluid and adept, whether we're working with legacy systems such as mainframes, which thankfully we don't have that challenge at Spotify, but I know many of you might. And we interface with our SaaS systems as well. And the benefit of this is quite monumental. It really allows us to dive in deep with all of our processes and understand how we can strip away all of the manual, repetitive, tedious tasks, many of which lead to very challenging data quality issues. And we can we can amplify basically everything from the data quality. We can mitigate the risk that comes from breaches of various global requirements on a SOX level if you're a publicly traded company and you have financial records that you need to manage. So there's a large amount of benefit that we get out of these automations. And another great benefit is that we can use these across pretty much any business unit within the firm, meaning that we can leverage the technology for processes that sit within HR. We can also leverage this technology for processes that sit within finance, and we can even leverage this technology for our machine learning teams and our teams that are starting to build out the more experimental technologies. So this is a wonderful way, again, to really equip our firm with a more robust workflow, specifically in terms of our internal business processes. So as we walk through this, we have several different models that typically most enterprises use to be able to basically implement RPA or robotic process automation. The one in the middle, the hybrid model, is what Spotify selected. And I'll go into detail about why this is important in future slides. So the hybrid management model allows us to, in essence, partner directly with our business units. And each business unit develops their automation capabilities directly in alignment with the strategic initiatives of the COE, or the Center of Excellence, that we've created at Spotify. And this is important because we are empowering each of our business units, again, whether this is in finance, whether this is in HR, content management. we're empowering those stakeholders with the capability to automate those tedious, complex business processes. And we are standardizing across the entire enterprise what it means to deploy technologies to solve these business problems. Now, there are other types of model constructs that you can use as well, which is decentralized, which you'll see on the left. This is a model that quite a few centers of excellence use. We found this model to be the least appealing, I should say, primarily because it can lead to a lot of duplication of work, meaning that you don't have that same central focus on strategy, on alignment across the top or over the top of your business units. And as a result, you may find that you have multiple tools in the environment that are solving the same problem in relation to RPA. You may also find that you automate processes either upstream or downstream, very disconnected from the way that you would otherwise approach those if you were in a hybrid model. The last part is the centralized model, which is on the right. The centralized model allows the center of excellence to, in essence, own all of the business processes in terms of automation capabilities. However, it definitely segments the business unit out of that order. And the challenge there is that we quite often find there becomes a disconnect between the needs of the business and the goals and the strategy of the COE. And that can often lead, again, to duplication of work, a lack of being able to have pure visibility into the automation opportunities. And so the hybrid model that we've selected really allows for that seamless partnership between the business and the center of excellence. And it's a mix really of responsibilities, a mix of roles, and also even a blending, I should say, of resourcing. And all of this really helps to facilitate a faster digital transformation. So as we move forward, you'll see how we have leveraged this hybrid model in both citizen development and now the concept that we are piloting in terms of citizen data scientists. Now, you may ask, well, what is the purpose of the Center of Excellence? There's a wide variety of things that we offer. We have the ability to showcase this new technology to our entire workforce, which is great. We also have the ability to really focus on the challenges that the various business units have, but we also start to tell that story of transformation through the COE. We sit over the top of the business processes, and as a result, that really allows us to see where there are synergies amongst the business units that may not necessarily present themselves to the stakeholders when they are very focused on their world and what they plan to deliver for the firm. In addition, the way that we have streamlined our workflows, the way that we staff up our Center of Excellence, we have the capability to really deliver speed at a rapid scale in terms of automation. We have pushed out automations, this says in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. That is everything from requirements gathering to post-production hypercare. And the last but definitely not least piece of the puzzle is being able to create the partnerships with our internal system owners, and these are business applications. So whether we are interfacing with our Salesforce team, whether we are interfacing with our Workday team, we are able to really leverage those partnerships to understand when application upgrades may impact our automations. We are able to talk to our system owners about how we plan to leverage RPA against their systems. And this really helps to build, again, that trust and that ownership and true transparency of effort across both the Center of Excellence and our business process owners. So we act, I should say, as the glue in terms of the partnership between our system owners and our business stakeholders. Now, within the Center of Excellence, we have trained up a wide variety of citizen developers. We currently have over 80 citizen developers, and these are business stakeholders who are not developers by trade that have been trained from the ground up to build their own attended automations. And the attended robotic process automation processes are those that leverage the end user's credentials. So meaning the robots that our citizen developers build, those robots leverage the credentials of the bot builder themselves. And this is an important distinction between the attended bots, which are for our citizen developers, and the unattended bots, which are for built out for our larger, more enterprise level processes. And the great thing about the program that we have created at Spotify is that we are really encouraging our business stakeholders to take full advantage of this technology. We offer training courses every month on how to build your own robots. We take the citizen developers through a very rigorous training where they learn all of the ins and outs about robotic process automation. So everything from just what is RPA to what are the difference between variables, how do you look user interface selectors, what is the framework that you should be using to start building your bot. And then we provide a very robust library of resources that our citizen developers can use to continue upskilling and to continue that journey of self-exploration of this technology. And the end goal is that we have citizen developers at the end of this journey that are not only fully upskilled in robotic process automation, but also begin to either train their peers, they've upskilled into a trainer, or they may even leverage their training to become a power user, and they would then start developing more complex automations and potentially even roll into the Center of Excellence as a junior developer. So, and this is very critical. We offer a very straightforward path, development, skills, improvement, and this is for anyone at our firm. And this is, again, an important part of that journey, which is we are dedicating the time, the effort to upskilling our internal workforce. And because we want at the end of the day to empower everyone with the mindset that this technology is not technology that doesn't speak to the business stakeholders themselves. We believe that everyone should have the ability to access this technology. And as we move on, we'll talk a bit about what that means, especially once we start blending in some of the data science pieces as well. So now let's talk about citizen data scientists, which is a relatively new field. We have not ventured into this field yet within Spotify, but we are starting to, this is basically the next stage of our evolution as we start to really talk through what does it mean to democratize not only automation, but also data science within our workforce. Now, you may be asking, what is a citizen data scientist? So this is a Gartner definition, but in essence, a citizen data scientist is a business stakeholder that has the capability, the knowledge, the tools to create models. And this can be anything from if you are doing predictive analytics, if you are looking at analytics in terms of future capabilities of the tool of the firm. But the key point here is that these are not, the individuals that we're speaking about, they're not data scientists by trade. So these are individuals that are maybe a business analyst, maybe even a software developer that have the tools at their disposal and also have the knowledge, the upskilling available to, in essence, become a citizen data scientist through upskilling. Now, the next question that we get asked a lot is what type of person or what roles fit into this bucket? The citizen data scientist, it's great because there are a lot of different, I'll say, personas that can fit into this. So your citizen data scientist can be anyone from a business analytics professional to a software developer to a data engineer. And this is critical because what this means is you're exponentially expanding your firm's ability to leverage the data at your disposal and truly create a mindset of how do we leverage data as an asset by creating that mentality, that mindset, that capability, and by offering the tool to your employees, you're offering them the feasibility of actually upskilling to become more skilled at understanding data analytics, predictive analytics, et cetera. So this piece of the bucket is essential in order to make sure that, once again, you talk to your employees about the importance of the fact that anyone can upskill in this role and anyone can learn how to look at the data, how to analyze the data in a way that provides a great return on investment for both the business unit as a whole, but also as the firm as a whole as well. Now, the next question that we get asked a lot is what do we look for when we talk about a citizen data scientist? So there's a few different pieces here. One, we need to be able to understand the nuances of our business areas. Now, the difference when we have a traditional data scientist versus a citizen data scientist is that our traditional data scientist may or may not have that ground level understanding, or I'll say keystroke level understanding of a particular business area. However, a citizen data scientist does actually have this knowledge, and this is absolutely critical. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, because once you start upskilling your business SMEs in data science, now you have a hybrid employee. You have an accountant who, in essence, is also a data scientist. You have an internal auditor who is also a data scientist. And this is where you start to reap the benefits, because once you merge together the business acumen with the technical skill, and depending on what tool you select for your center of excellence, a lot of the data science tools today are very low code, no code, drag and drop. So it does allow you to upskill your team or your teams very quickly in this technology. The next piece of the puzzle is really looking at that business stakeholder. The business stakeholders always understand the priorities or the key results that the business is looking for. And this is really great because this allows you, once again, the citizen data scientist is honed in on what matters to the business, what results the business is looking for, and they can help create the story of the justification of this work to the senior leaders of the business unit. And this all combines together in addition with the length of time that the employee has been at the firm, the fact that they are being upskilled in hands-on analytical practices. This creates, again, that super user, a user that has the deep business knowledge, but also has the technical acumen to dive in to really look for the level of insights that are going to provide business value to your stakeholders. And as we look at this, the trajectory of augmented analytics, so what we are really talking about here with our citizen data scientists is leaning more towards a very dynamic, near real-time, machine learning-led look at analytics, a look at data. This is important to us because, once again, the faster that we can get data, the faster that we can analyze it, the closer that we can know that the data is complete, that it's accurate, that it's timely. That benefits us in terms of telling that story, leveraging that data again as an asset to make leadership decisions, decisions that may impact the revenue of the firm. These are all of the different elements that go into the trustworthiness, I should say, of the data. And the great part with the citizen data scientist is that these are our business stakeholders that have intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the business processes. So they are able to dive in and tell us the nuances from that level. But once we once we upskill them with the acumen, the knowledge of the data as well, then they're able to provide us those real insights that we can then action as senior leaders. So there's a wide variety of benefits, but one of the big ones is being able to actually trust your data as a result of, again, that kind of super user, hybrid user that's between a business SME and also a data scientist, otherwise known as a citizen data scientist. When we talk about what it means to have a center of excellence where you are encapsulating citizen developers from an RPA standpoint, robotic process automation, you are also encapsulating your citizen data scientists who are looking looking at predictive analytics, looking at your data, perhaps even creating simple data models that can be leveraged for your machine learning teams. All of this is encapsulated in the maturity model that you want to roll out for your center of excellence. So as we talk about these different types of automation, it's very important to remember that this is absolutely a journey. It starts with an understanding of where your firm is today in relation to how organized your data is, how accessible your data is, how the cleanliness of your data, again, the reliability of your data. Do you have any ETL problems in the background that may cause challenges when you're looking at that data in terms of your ability to trust it? We slide back and we look at how do you want to walk through this journey? You always want to start at your basic process automation. And this is really you can think of this as true robotic process automation. This is entry-level, rules-based, repetitive, highly manual tasks that your teams do across the firm that they have the knowledge of and that they can talk to you about from a keystroke level. These are the tasks that are perfect for robotic process automation. And this is always the great way to start because you're really working with structured data, machine readable data, and it's also data that we can all of those attributes allow us to easily access that data through the RPA tool. Now, as you create your governance framework, as you work to understand which RPA tool provider that you'll work with, as you build up your resources on your center of excellence, whether you go with a partner or you hire internal staff, you will start to mature out your footprint. You'll have more and more robots that are a part of your center of excellence and more processes that you've automated. With that knowledge, you will start to gather use cases that more than likely will contain unstructured data. So this is data that is not machine readable. This is data that may come in a PDF. It may come in handwriting, maybe handwritten documents. And this is where we start bringing in enhanced process automation. So this is where we start building our tool stack. In essence, we're building our tool stack out beyond traditional RPA. We're starting to encapsulate optical character recognition, or OCR for short. So we may also call that document understanding. There's different terminology out there. But in essence, this is additional tools, additional methodologies that allow us to take data that is not machine readable and convert that into data that the bots can ingest, which is structured and machine readable. So this allows us to combine also some very rudimentary components of cognitive automation. However, the most advanced phase is going to be phase 3, which is where we get into the true self-learning adaptive tools. This is where we can actually predict what the bots, I should say, the systems that are at play can predict outcomes. They can start to make decisions based on previous knowledge, a lot of data that they've gathered and curated together. And one example of this is IBM Watson. But this is the end state where, in essence, you have combined at this point robotic process automation, most likely machine learning for your models, which are going to be ingested by your artificial intelligence model. You're also probably combining some OCR, document understanding there. And you probably are also combining a data analytics tool, again, that low-code, no-code, drag and drop tool that your citizen data scientists are leveraging. And all of that together allows you to come into the final stage of your digital transformation, whereby you are no longer dismissing use cases because you don't have the ability to process them due to the fact that maybe they're unstructured, maybe they require more cognitive reasoning behind the business process. You can now ingest all of those processes and make those work as potential use cases for your center of excellence. And this just gives you a little look at where we have ongoing R&D. So we're working on everything from new citizen developer engagements within our Center of Excellence for new business stakeholders to test automation. So how do we automate test cases across a variety of internal systems? We are currently looking at the data scientist, the citizen developer data scientist program. We're also looking at efficiencies within our own team, which is extremely important. So how do we as a Center of Excellence remain the most efficient team at Spotify by automating our own work? And we already have a lot of bots in the environment that are built for our team's specific use. We do a large amount of program retrospectives. This is to make sure that we understand the pain points, the feedback that is coming from the business, which is essential to our success. And then we're also looking at human in the loop, which is new for us in terms of a start-stop approach where a human, in essence, can do a portion of the work, stop the process, and pass the rest of the work off to a robot, and then vice versa. A robot can start the work, stop at a certain point, and pass the rest of the work off to a human. So we have that in place today. And then we're also looking at how do we create champions? How do we create evangelists within the business that can really help us to reach that cognitive stage of maturity as a center of excellence. So with that, I hope that you have learned a bit more about robotic process automation citizen development and also the citizen developer data scientist. Both of these roles are critical to the success of not only a digital transformation of your firm, but a transformation of your workforce to make your workforce resilient for the future of work within your company. This is absolutely critical for all of us to stay on the cutting edge, not only as individuals with our skill sets, but also as companies to make sure that we are always at front and center in front of our competitors. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. And again, my name is Sydney Prescott, and thank you for joining me.
Wow, thanks, Sydney. That was awesome. We do have time for one very quick question from the audience, and I think it's a great one. Do you see citizen data scientists because...
Oh, yes. So I do see citizen data scientists as a fundamental part of business moving forward into the future. And primarily that is because as we start looking at the landscape of automation moving forward, and this is very industry agnostic, we're starting to see a heavier focus on machine learning, a heavier focus on artificial intelligence, and all of this technology requires the data to make these to start doing the predictive analytics against. Now, the challenge there is we have demand on the business side for tools that can provide predictive analytics. However, we need individuals or employees who have the skill sets necessary as a data scientist to be able to create these machine learning models. Right. And what we've seen is across the industry over the past few years, we have a lack of data scientists in the field. And this is creating, I'll say, like a technical debt for all of the companies that are looking to move the needle in terms of digital transformation more towards the cognitive technologies, because there simply aren't enough data scientists out there to be able to fill the roles that we need to be able to flesh out all of the proposals that we have in relation to transformation. And so I think that gap in terms of supply and demand from a data scientist side, this is where the citizen data scientists will be absolutely critical. Moving forward, a company can invest in upskilling their existing business subject matter experts in the ways of predictive analytics, using tools, Alteryx and many other tools that are on the market, And those capabilities, having a team experienced business people who also have the technical skill set to provide insight into the data, that is going to be, I think, overwhelmingly called for as we move forward beyond even 2021. So my long answer is that, but the short answer is I think we're going to actually see more enterprises starting to embrace the citizen data scientist concept. And also we're probably going to see additional vendors and partners start to explore this space as well.
Great. Thanks so much. That's been super enlightening. Everybody, let's head over to the next session. Grid Dynamics' very own Jake will be hosting us, and we'll see you there.